candidates, current city council people, you should not be allowed to take any campaign donations, because I think that takes away the transparency of the situation when they come before you. These are the people that have contributed to your campaign. I think it would make it a fair process for everyone running for city council. There's so many. Detroit is the only city where people can call you up and say, if you pay $500, I'll endorse you. What does that endorsement mean if you have to pay for it? We're the only city, the only culture that politics run the gamut like it does here. And I was amazed. I'm thinking, oh wow, they want the best and brightest candidate. I found out a lot when I was on this campaign trail. So I think that we need to hold city council candidates and city council accountable. We should not be allowed to take any monies from anyone on the campaign trail, especially those who do business with the city. Thank you.
Well, I think Shelley and I agree wholeheartedly with what she said about the surprise, the shock and awe of the things that are expected of these from us as candidates. You know, you go into a screening for endorsement, and you're asked point blank, would you be willing to pay for your endorsement? And I think that is very, very appalling. And it really foreshadows a lot of the pay-to-play that you're expected to engage in once you become a city council member. I ran a I had a very humble budget, if you will, for the primary. We did it without having the big bucks coming from the big companies, big bucks coming from the main contractors. We did so and ran a campaign that was very thrifty and ensured that we were proper stewards of those contributions that were provided by the regular citizens of the city of Detroit who provided donations to our campaign. I'm going to do the same thing as a city council member if elected. I want to make sure that every dollar counts and every dollar goes towards ensuring the city services are handled as best as we can, to ensure that all the dollars that we can go towards the salaries, the benefits for the city workers, so we don't have to cut, because when we begin to cut jobs, we destroy the city services of our great city. So that is how I feel about the issue. James Tate.
Thank you.
I'm Joanne Watson. I appreciate the question. One of the first things that former president, the late Mary Ann Mahaffey, president emeritus of the city council, did after I was elected in the special election when the late Brenda Scott tragically died, she came into my office and told me that there was some $64,000 in the $500,000 budget that could be used for office refurbishing. I looked around, there was a couch already there. It was Gil Hill's couch. There was a desk already there. It was Clyde Cleveland's desk. It's still in my office. I spent zero on office decoration. This is not my home. So the things that were there when I started in 2003 are still there. The pictures on the wall are from my own house. The money that President Mahaffey said could be used for office decor, and many offices have plush decorations, I used to hire young people. Gave them $1,000 a month from high schools all over this city. They worked, it wasn't make work, it was real work. They helped constituents. One of them was a law student who found that $130 million that the state of Michigan owed. That law student found that money, found that money was owed to the city and never got collected. These young people did constituent work. It also helped stabilize their families. Many of their families were in challenging situations. You should also know that the representation I've done for the city. Recently, going to Washington, D.C., asking the White House directors for urban affairs and intergovernmental affairs support the repopulation of Detroit, rapid transit in Detroit, that Marshall Plan. I paid my own money to go. I've never had a city credit card. Last December, when the auto industry was on the front line of the Senate and the House, I paid my own money to go to Washington, D.C. to stand up for Detroit. When some of those federal legislators were talking about Detroit like it was a bad word, I went to stand up for my city and to go office to office to tell them that we need to stand up for our workers. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm also going to have to leave. I'm on the board of directors of Mariners Inn, And tonight in the Eastern Market, they're having their first annual art fair where the clients have put on an art show. They'd be disappointed if I didn't show up. It ends at 9 o'clock, so I'm going to leave a little bit early. I want to thank Lee and everyone for coming out again. I also want to put my email or my website address out, electgarybrown.com. We're proud that we came in third place in the primary, and we're asking anyone that's supporting our campaign to please go to that website, please volunteer to help us in some way, if it's to do nothing other than to make some phone calls and to tell your friends and family to vote for us. We humbly would thank you for your support. With regards to the question, again, I spent 5 years of my life showing that I was willing and I had the ability to fight for what I believe is right. I went through a lawsuit with the city that was all about integrity, character, and honesty. And it's just too bad that we even have to start the conversation with regards to elected officials in the city of Detroit, not assuming that they all have character. So again, I thank you. I apologize for having to leave early, and I'm asking you humbly for your support in November. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Candidate Brown. Would you like to take some time to introduce yourself, Candidate
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes. Good evening. I'm Raphael B. Johnson. Please pardon my tardiness. I was leaving another event who I gave a commitment to, and I also gave a commitment to Lee. So because I couldn't be at two places at one time, I took that one first and headed here. I'm Raphael B. Johnson. I'm a candidate for Detroit City Council. I am 34 years old. I am married. I have 2 children in the city of Detroit. I am a graduate of University of Detroit Mercy, bachelor's and a master's, and I'm running for the city of Detroit, and I won't take up too much of time talking about me, but if the questions arise, I'll definitely address them. Thank you.
All right, well, you get the next question,
Okay.
Candidate Johnson.
Okay.
What do the people of Detroit mean to you?
Are we standing?
If you look like,
Yes.
however you feel most comfortable.
The people of Detroit mean everything to me. I think when you talk about the people of Detroit, is it 2 minutes? Is it
2 minutes.
Okay. You talk about the people of Detroit, you're not trying to separate anyone. We have a population of 830,000. We have many who are ex-offenders, approximately half of those individuals. We have many people who are displaced workers. We have police officers. We have law enforcement. We have a whole plethora of just a diverse mix of individuals. So when you say the people of Detroit, I think of all of them. I think they mean everything to me because I am a product of Detroit. Born and raised in Detroit, reared in the city of Detroit, schooled in Detroit. Detroiters have suffered long enough. Bottom line, I think everyone in this room have felt the sting of the recession. I think many of us have felt the sting of high taxes. I think many of us have felt the sting of just trying to survive. Some of us check to check, week to week, or whatever. When you look at Detroit, in my opinion, I'm looking at myself and vice versa. We have a problem in our city, and it's going to take some true leadership who can reach out to every single facet of our community. Not just people in the empowerment zone, not just people who are residents in the downtown area, but those people who are on the east side of Detroit, the deep east, southwest Detroit. Those people are human beings. So when you ask what I feel about the city of Detroit, I think they're human beings. And I think all human beings deserve a right to live above high standards, and they deserve a right to participate in this democratic process that has made this country what it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pro Tem.
The people of Detroit mean everything to me. First of all, the people of Detroit are the bosses of the city council and the bosses of the mayor. The people of Detroit are the power. I mentioned earlier how it was the people of Detroit when they showed up for the hearing to reinstate bus service 24 hours. It wasn't the union speaking, it was when the people spoke and organized. So the people have the power. And city council members need to be able to organize and work with the people we work for to help them feel that power. When the governor closed the Dexter Elmhurst Center, we organized the people in the neighborhood, went to the governor's office, got it reopened again. So the power really rests with the people. When the people are united, they will never be defeated.
Well, the people mean everything to me. I actually resigned from my position at the Detroit Police Department to run for Detroit City Council. I actually made slightly more than a city council member does, but that was a sacrifice that I made because I felt that it was important for me to utilize all the things that I have gained over the years in my professional life and also my personal life. What also did, I believe very strongly in